Success is a manifestation of your true self's desires. Now, as we think about this statement, there's a lot to unpack when you really go deep into recognizing what it means and how to actually achieve success. When we think about success, many times we think of the superficial things, the common things, right? Money, a house, cars, relationships, children, but you must go deeper than that. And notice that I said we need to focus on desire versus focus on simple wants, right? And the important thing is to recognize the difference between wanting something and desiring something, recognizing that wanting something is a manifestation of the ego, the false self. And though the ego is important and the ego's essence is something to consider, its characters and what drives it is something to consider and think about, it should not be the driving force as to why you do what you do, why and how you live your life. Because when we follow and we are led by the ego, it potentially will lead us down a road of chaos and suffering and pain. But when you recognize your true self-consciousness and you are led by that, then you are able to identify really what you desire, because desire comes from that which is of the ego, right? Which is your purest self, your true self. And when you think about desire, what you're talking about is understanding what correlates and what resonates with your true self and identifying what your purpose is along this journey of life, because your desires will give you the insight and the fulfillment along the path of self-realization and recognizing that you are the creator of your universe. And so when you think about that, then it gives you the true, contrast or the true understanding of how you need to really focus your awareness when you think about yourself and you spend time with yourself and you identify what is it and who is it that you truly are, right? Because the journey of success is another layer of understanding what does that look like? Does that look like having the high paid job? Does that look like, going to a job with a particular look, having a certain style, having a certain presence or aura around you? Does it look like having a certain amount of money in your bank account? Really, what does that look like for you? What does that feel like for you? And you have to get into understanding that the wants can be an indicator of what you need to actually achieve on a deeper level. So many people want money. They want $1 million. But really what you desire is what that $1 million can create for you, right? What that financial freedom will create for you, right? Maybe it's simply the desire to do whatever you want to do when you want to do it, right? Maybe it's the desire to travel around the world and stay in particular places for a certain period of time and simply just decide, okay, you're ready to move on and go to another place. So you have to really go deep into understanding your consciousness and what it desires versus just simply going with the wants of the ego. Because the wants of the ego is really something that we often use as, connecting and referencing what other people want as well. We look at what somebody else achieved and we say, okay, that person achieved that. They look happy. Everybody else wants to achieve that as well, right? Because everybody else is being led by their ego. So therefore, if you are being led by the ego, you're going to want that as well too. And then when you achieve that, then there's a sense of emptiness and feeling lost and feeling like, wait, but I'm not happy. I said I wanted to create financial freedom for myself, but yet I'm not happy and fulfilled. Why is that? Well, it's because there's something deeper. And that's what you need to identify. So you need to understand, what does success truly look like? And success can be, another word for fulfillment, another word for joy, another word for, self-realization, right? Because we're talking about spirituality. And so when we think about spirituality and when we think about the materialism of the world, we often get these words confused and, it seems like it's more like semantics, right? But they have different levels of meaning, right? Personal fulfillment is something that you tap into on an emotional level where you feel complete, you feel whole. Whereas success is the active pursuit of achieving something. Usually it's status, right? Usually it's a way that people look at you and how you are presented and how you present yourself. And it's okay to recognize the desires, to actually have an understanding of what that looks like, what that feels like for you. Okay. Because if you're on a spiritual journey, it does not mean that you just simply disregard things like success or things like prosperity, finances, abundance, love, intimacy. Those things just simply don't fall away and are no longer a concern for you. They are, and they should be. You're in this physical world. Those are aspects of this physical reality in our society. There's no need to judge those things and feel like those things are beneath you or beneath consciousness, right? Beneath you because you are tapping into something deeper and more meaningful. Yes, but you must understand that there are levels and there are ways to prioritize what is more meaningful for you than other things. Yes, your personal fulfillment is very important, and that should be at the top of anybody's list. I know it's at the top of mine's, but success is also very important to me. Financial freedom is also very important to me, right? Relationships, intimacy, very important. So you have to just simply identify, okay, these are the things that I desire in my life. What does that look like for me? What in this list of desires that I have in these different categories, what's most important? And when I recognize what's most important, then I simply prioritize and move in a way that materializes and manifests those things accordingly. And that's simply what you should be asking yourself. I desire success, right? You must ask yourself, what is it that I desire exactly? What is it that success looks like for me? When you are able to identify that, then you can practice visualization and moving in a way that allows you to resonate and vibrate at a frequency that matches that. And when you continue to visualize and practice and understand, okay, these things, the clarity as to what it is that you desire is so important, because if you have no vision, then you have no direction, you have no compass. You have no GPS. You have no idea if you're going in a direction that's going to provide fulfillment for you or not, because you are not setting yourself up to face a particular, direction, right? You're not setting yourself up to face a particular trajectory. It is envisioning, it is recognizing and imagining that thing which is going to help you to actually direct your actions toward creating that and materializing that. So you must define what success means to you. And if it isn't a word that resonates with you, that's fine. But find something, a word that resonates with you. Usually when it comes to those who are spiritually conscious and consciously on this journey, we usually use words like prosperity to, exchange or to be associated with something like success. So if that's the word that resonates with you more, then so be it. But again, you must identify define that. What does that look like for you? What does that feel like for you? And when you have a good sense of that, then you are beginning to have the building blocks, right, to compile and stack up in order to build this reality for yourself. And it's just really a matter of recognizing that which you truly desire. If you have no idea, then it's going to be very, very difficult for you to create a reality where you feel and materialize the actual destination, right? The actual purpose. Because we're talking about following consciousness, recognize that. And if you're following consciousness, then we're talking about recognizing and following purpose, you see? So there is no separation of success versus purpose. When you are in alignment with your purpose, then you will naturally achieve things like success, prosperity, right? Financial freedom, right? Happiness, relationships, love, intimacy. You just have to recognize what your consciousness is trying to tell you, is leading you. And when you recognize and you understand the signs and the synchronicities, and you just start simply moving in that way with faith, you'll find out that the things that you materialize are essentially just blocks along this road that you're walking on. All right? They're the bricks. All right? They're the stones that is designing and placing together this road that, you know, in your mind or what you may think, you really have no idea. Like, you have no idea you're on this path. You don't have a visual, even a visual conceptualized understanding of the path that you're on. But when you think about piecing together just simply your desires, then you are actually, you know, compiling and creating this path. You're literally taking all of the information, all of the insight, all of the intuition, and you're bringing it together. And it is creating a path for you to walk on. It is creating a direction for you to walk toward in your life. But you just simply have to ask yourself the questions. What do you desire? What does success look like? And when you ask yourself those questions over and over and over again, the mind is geared to find the answers. And when you find those answers, you must explore them. You must investigate. You must go the direction that the path is being led before you, is sending you toward. Thank you so much. Feel free to go to drabundant.com, subscribe to my daily newsletter, and get access to this free ebook, The Power Within. Continue to join me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.